Content neutral and conducive to a positive learning environment.
Mm-hmm.
That's the policy.
Right. And I was told that it's not content neutral, that it's a personal opinion.
A West Ada school teacher is being told to remove 2 signs of inclusion from her middle school classroom because the school district says it violates policy. Sarah Inama has taught world civilization to 6th graders at Lewis and Clark Middle School for the past 4 years. And for the past 4 years, Sarah had these signs up in her classroom. One that said, "Everyone in this room is welcome, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal," written over the colors of the rainbow. And another that said, "Everyone is welcome here," showing hands of various skin tones, hearts in the palm, those kind of things. You know, pretty benign signs if you look at them. And before we go any further with this, the sign with the rainbow colors, not the same as an LGBTQ flag, although Sarah says she's very much an ally, she just doesn't advertise it in her classroom. So for 4 years, these signs have survived sans harassment. Nobody said a word about them. That is, until about a month ago.
My building administration came to me during my lunch period and told me that they needed to be taken down by the end of the day. They told me that they were in violation of district policy because in today's political environment, they're considered a personal opinion.
Did they say somebody complained about them?
No. I asked if anyone had complained about them, and they said, no, we just want to protect you from that if that were to happen.
In this political environment,
mm-hmm.
That is not acceptable.
Yeah, I was told a couple things. That everyone is welcome here is not something that everybody believes. So that's what makes it a personal opinion.
You were told this,
mm-hmm.
that not everybody believes everyone is welcome.
Right.
Okay. And who told you this? Who was the one saying that not everyone believes this?
My building administration and district personnel.
Face to face, they told you this?
Mm-hmm.
What was your response to that?
Because I was told to take it down by the end of the day, I did so. And the following few days, I just was so unsettled by it. And so I went back into my classroom and put it back up. And I emailed my principal and said, I don't agree. I don't agree that this is a personal opinion. I feel like this is the basis of public education.
And what was the response to that?
They came to talk to me and again asked me to take it down. And I said, I'm not interested in taking it down.
That's when the district higher-ups got involved. In an email exchange with Chief Academic Officer Marcus Myers, he highlighted the section of district policy he says Sarah's signs violated, including the advancement of individual beliefs and district facilities should be content neutral. But more specifically, Myers pointed to Idaho Code, the Dignity and Non-Discrimination in Public Education Act, which says district employees and students shall respect the dignity of others and acknowledge the right of others to express differing opinions. And they're saying that putting up a poster that says everyone is welcome is a violation of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because everyone is welcome here, especially since the poster emphasizes in regards to skin color with the images of the hands, that is considered something that people have differing views on.
And the differing view would be racist?
I mean, I can't even wrap my head around what other differing view of it would be. I mean, except for something that's exclusionary. So everyone is welcome here really isn't a personal statement, it's non-discrimination. It's verbatim on our Explorer Way posters.
That's true. Sarah says these posters, made by the middle school principals and put up in every classroom, lay out what it means to be a Lewis and Clark Explorer, welcome others, and embrace diversity. Isn't everyone is welcome here the same thing?
It is welcoming others and it is embracing diversity. And these are the students that are in our community. I just feel like, as a teacher, and I feel like probably a lot of teachers share this sentiment, I would do anything to protect my students. I love all of them unconditionally. We protect them from danger. Quite literally would take a bullet for these students. And this is the one small thing that I feel like I can do to speak out against this and stand up for them, to protect them from being affected by racist sentiments affecting their classroom. I find it hard to grapple with the fact that the reason why this poster needs to come down is because there are people outside of our school that disagree with it.
Sarah says she realizes it's just a poster, and she knows her students already know they are welcome. but this is about principle. She told us it's important to not be complacent in something she feels is just wrong. To be clear, we did reach out to the West Ada School District several times to get their take on these signs, but we were told Marcus Myers, that'd be the chief academic officer, is, quote, not interested in being interviewed. Please refer to the statement we sent earlier, they said. A statement that does not answer any of the questions Sarah Inama had about how, specifically, her "Everyone is Welcome Here" sign violates district policy. The statement just repeats the part about anything put up in the classroom has to be, quote, content neutral and conducive to a positive learning environment, end quote. It even includes examples of what is allowed, like, well, the Idaho flag, or a flag used to teach world politics, but only temporarily. Say, in a Spanish class, can a Spanish flag be used to show all the countries that speak Spanish? Who knows? You can put up a periodic table in a chemistry class, or you can put up a constitution in a civics class. Got Teacher of the Year? Cool. Display that proudly. Your school won the state wrestling tournament? We'll allow that. Proud of the college you went to or a fan of the Seattle Seahawks? That's fine. Any artwork from the class or a field trip photo, as well as any promotions of school teams and activities, those are all good. Even personal family photos are no problem. The district even put in an including but not limited to clause with this policy, but apparently everyone is welcome here is beyond their limits. In that email, trying to show Sarah where her poster violates policy, the district directed her to that Idaho code that we mentioned, the Dignity and Non-Discrimination in Public Education Act, passed in 2021. Remember that? Well, because Idaho schools were riddled with critical race theory, this law says, saying anything that, quote, inflames divisions on the basis of sex, race, ethnicity, religion, color, national origin would not be allowed in Idaho public schools. No school shall compel students to personally affirm, adopt, and adhere to any tenet that any sex, race, ethnicity, religion, color, or national origin is inherently superior or inferior. They told Sarah she had until the end of this school year to remove or replace her signs with something less violating. What if she doesn't? I don't know. The question still remains. The only thing we have heard from the West Ada School District is a reiteration of their policy without an explanation of how everyone is welcome here is just personal opinion. Then today, the district put out a 2-page letter to its staff. They titled this thing, Ensuring a Consistent and Supportive Learning Environment. And the analogy they chose is, to say the least, interesting. Calling West Ada a well-coached sports team whose success comes from following a structured game plan. Players can bring their own strengths and personality, they said, but they have to still play within the rules because, well, of fairness. If one of those players, say, I don't know, wore a different uniform or brought their own ball or just ignored the rules, what kind of game would that be? Unstructured, confusing, imbalanced, that letter said. Letter then mentioned Marcus Myers, the district's chief academic officer, the one who told Mrs. Inama to remove her posters, who I am sure has seen his fair share of correspondence over the last few days. It likens Mr. Myers to a referee in this sports analogy. While players, that'd be teachers and staff, bring their own approaches and creativity to instruction, the game itself must still be played within the established rules. And the referees, like Mr. Myers, are there to enforce those rules impartially to ensure a fair and level playing field. It went on to say Mr. Myers has a lot of experience in this stuff, and his leadership makes him an invaluable asset in maintaining a, what do they say, balanced and effective educational environment. So this letter was very much like a pep rally, but still a lot of unanswered questions with this sports analogy memo. Like, what kind of team is this? What team doesn't trumpet diversity and inclusion and stand behind the message of everyone is welcome here? The letter went on to say those values, well, they should be fostered through connections made in classrooms, not through posters. Yet there remains several posters in the school that say, welcome others and embrace diversity. Sarah stood her ground and kept the poster in her classroom because, as she says, it's the foundation of public education. Everyone is welcome here. And it's just the right thing to do. Since then, she has had countless people stand up for her. Students protesting on her behalf, celebrities celebrating her courage, her story going around the world. Well, nowhere is the solidarity for Sarah and her message more evident than at a small family-owned T-shirt shop in East Boise. It's Thursday.
Yes, sir.
At Brigade Screen Printing in Boise.
So we're busy on a normal basis.
But this Thursday is not a normal one.
We're never this busy. This is a whole nother level.
For the past week and a half,
What, are we on 8 days now? 9 days?
Sean Wright and his staff have been handling a special order.
This is the only thing I've seen like this with this amount of support.
Shortly after 6th grade teacher Sarah Inama was told by the West Ada School District to take down her classroom sign that said, everyone is welcome here, and she refused, Brigade's one-room shop has been continuous chaos.
It's a good chaos, and I'm glad that it blew up and got this message out there to more people than we expected.
For that, you can thank Sean's friend, Chris Stewart,
Was not expecting this response at all.
who saw Sarah's story and came up with the idea
Chris called me.
to make the message mobile.
Hey man, you know why I'm calling? And I'm like, what do you need? What do you need? How can I help you?
So Sean shared the story with his staff, most of which are moms with kids in the West Ada School District.
And within 5 minutes, I had a bunch of moms in tears going, whatever we got to do.
Yep, when Sean sat us down, there was no question. Then I was like, yep, let's go for it.
And so I called him back and I said, let's go.
And they've been going and going since.
I think yesterday, before 4 o'clock, my phone said I had 14,000 steps in.
Sean says most days this is a 7 to 5 gig.
And with what's going on right now, I mean, we've been here 4 a.m. till 10 p.m., 11 p.m. each night trying to keep up with all this.
To keep up with all of this, they've also had to rely on help.
I am a volunteer.
Doreen Gardner saw Sarah's story too,
It was quite moving and just didn't make any sense to me, and that's not the Idaho I know.
which is why she felt the need to be part of it.
If this is a small part of what we can do to help and make a change and make things better, I'm all for it.
West Ada parents, teachers, or whomever wanted to show their support for everyone is welcome here. And to make that known, that support, make it known in colorful chalk on school sidewalks. Well, when the idea for this event was floated on social media, some 3,000 people said, yeah, they're interested. On Sunday, it seemed like most of them showed up to the West Ada School District admin building.
I was absolutely floored.
You passed me a green.
When I started this, I told my husband that I was expecting maybe 50 people. To see it balloon to over 3,000 people interested in a matter of a week just blew me away.
I'm drawing the "Everyone is Welcome" sign from Miss Inama's classroom. She's my World Civ teacher, and I just wanted to support her. I feel like the reasons the school district gave for why the signs should be taken down were not sufficient, and I want to know why "Everyone is Welcome" here is a personal opinion.
I decided to come out to support my son. Came home from school and just was really upset about why the poster was a personal opinion and not just natural. Like, everybody should be welcome.
I wrote that love hurt no one. Basically, I feel like we're hushing what the real problem is, and I think that's the fact that there is a lot of inequality, and in the community here especially, I think it shows that there's a lot of people here that want to make a difference, want equality, want overall just love, and that there is love in majority of our hearts.
It's been 2 weeks since we sat down with Sarah Inama, the 6th grade world civilizations teacher who refused to remove her "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster from her Lewis and Clark middle school classroom, and Samuel's teacher. We thought we'd check in with Sarah to see if anything has changed with regard to the poster, the reaction to this whole thing, and what she thinks about her kind of school teacher cult hero status.
I'm still really surprised by it.
Really?
Yeah. That was not my intention about coming public with this, but it's been, I think, really cool.
Does it make you feel, does it give you resolve? Does it make you think, okay, I'm making the right decision here?
Yeah, it definitely is a lot of reassurance. I did not think that this is how big it would get. It just makes me happy for our students. They deserve nothing less than to know that all of them are welcome there, and that that message has the backing of this whole community. The whole point was I just want my students to feel welcomed unconditionally, and I was hesitant about being public about it because I really didn't want them to know that this was a thing, because it's really hard to see kids for the first time learn that there's harmful and hurtful views out there in the world, and see them be affected by it, and them think about how that might affect them.
The poster's still up, and you still don't intend to take it down. You still have to the end of the year to take it down. Beyond that, what happens?
I don't know.
Okay. Are you worried about that?
No.
Have you heard from the school district since this first came out, since you first went public?
Yeah, I had a visit with Dr. Bubb, and he kind of further explained that they see the specific graphic of these hands as the issue because this graphic has been used by political organizations and they can't be sure who made this poster and if it's affiliated with political movements or political organizations.
You might remember we filed a public records request asking West Ada for any correspondence that may have been shared among district employees about Miss Inama and her Everyone is Welcome Here poster right around the time we broke her story. Remember when they wanted to charge us $9,500 for the more than 7,000 emails that were in that treasure trove? Well, we learned later they shared 1,200 emails with Idaho Ed News right around that same time at no charge. So we just asked for those, and we got them. And you should know, the drop includes hundreds of emails sent to the district in support of Sarah from all over the world. But it also included several draft letters, both the superintendent, Derek Bubb, and from the Board of Trustees, who wanted to share with the public, but ultimately did not. The public records we received also included a mock podcast where the chief academic officer was running through what he wanted to say on a local podcast. That would be The Ranch with Matt Todd. And what those draft letters say and what was said on that pretend podcast, they say a lot. Sometime around spring break, a series of draft responses from the school board was shared among the trustees. The first one mentioned how they're just volunteers and beholden to public meetings laws, which is why they weren't able to respond quickly as a group to the poster controversy. It lays out how everyone is welcome at West Ada, reiterates their sign policy, that's 401.2, and how difficult it is to monitor 58 schools with hundreds of rooms without disrupting learning. They said they've been able to do it, though, until now. This time, a teacher had a sign that contained the same "Everyone is welcome" text that we all agree with, but there was additional graphics that were on the bubble, but ultimately determined to have crossed the line of being potentially political. Unfortunately, in this case, the grievance process was bypassed, and instead, the media were contacted, and things went quickly downhill, they said. It went on to say, yet the media care nothing about principle, nor learning, nor kids. They care about clicks, and nothing stirs up more clicks than controversy. You can imagine how that made our staff feel, and the administration, and the board. I can only say that I hope you're never accused of being a racist by hundreds of people across the country you've never met with no ability to respond. Subsequent drafts removed the part about Sarah taking her story public and the uncaring way the media covered it. But the message was still the same. Everyone is welcome at West Ada. We're going to continue to focus on learning and enforce the policy 401.2, all while acknowledging the, quote, unintended pain caused by the situation in which mistakes were made. Speaking of mistakes, or maybe trying to avoid them, 2 days after Sarah shared her story, and 2 days before going on a local podcast, the chief academic officer, Marcus Myers, practiced his answers.
Because of the relationships, not because of the poster or a display on the wall. It's about our actions aligning with our beliefs, and those are so much more powerful than any piece of paper we can hang up.
As an aside, I'm trying to decide how nasty I want to get with you and how much I want to, I don't think Matt's going to do that. So
Matt's going to ask those questions exactly the way you asked him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what about this? Why is that such a problem?
Yeah.
What Matt does then is he then interjects his beliefs in that and then says, what do you think about
About 15 minutes later, they started talking about the Explorer Way posters already in Lewis and Clark Middle School classrooms and how they say the same thing as Sarah's "Everyone is welcome here" poster.
Why was this sign different? And I've already put in some bullet points to what I think of how we answer that. But I think Brian Holmes would ask that question.
And he should.
Yeah.
Matt will not.
Yeah.
But Brian Holmes will ask that question.
Absolutely.
Because he zoomed in on that in the deal. The term diversity is right in there. He should have found that. And the moment he did that, I was like,
Then, at the end, this came up.
Do you think it's any accident that all that's going on nationally with the Department of Education, is there any tie in there to what's happening nationally, to what's happening in West Ada this week?
This was no accident at all. I think it was directly timed along with this and the conversation we've had politically in the Department of Education, politically timed both by the reporter and by the teacher.
I just threw that question in there. Boy, I don't know how to. I don't like that answer, but it's not wrong.
It's true.
It's absolutely true.
It's absolutely not true, Mr. Myers and Mr. Hyde. But you might know that if you had agreed to speak with us about this instead of deciding to avoid tough questions and going on a safe space podcast. And the same could be said to the West Ada board members. We were told today that Pretend Podcast was intended for internal training purposes only. Yet it was included in our public records request.
So we need you to act not for politics, not to stay in power, not to keep your jobs. We need you to act like the adults in the room and stand up for all of the kids, not just the ones that are easy. Thank you.
Mrs. Armstrong, just one of the 24 speakers from last night's West Ada School Board meeting. The first meeting since district administrators told 6th grade history teacher, Sarah Inama, she had to take down 2 inclusive posters from her Lewis and Clark middle school classroom. Sarah says she was told her posters were political and personal opinion, since not everyone believes the basic message behind those sentiments. Sarah refused and put the "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster back up, and weeks later, she brought her story to us. Well, since then, we've asked repeatedly to speak with anyone from the district or a member of the board to find out how an "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster violates District Policy 401.2, which says classrooms should be content neutral. And we've been denied every single time. Other than internal memos and political podcasts, we have yet to hear what the board has to say about the policy they amended back in 2022. And the reason, as they mentioned last night, is because they just couldn't agree on a response, despite the overwhelming beliefs and criticisms from those that elected them.
Welcome to the regular board meeting for the Board of Trustees for the West Ada School District.
More than 150 people packed into the West Ada boardroom.
We have had 24 people sign up. We will allow all 24 to speak.
For the chance to tell the trustees directly.
This is absolutely ridiculous and utterly embarrassing for West Ada, for Idaho, and for humanity.
And exactly how they felt about requiring the removal of an "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster.
Posters that foster inclusion based on race, color, national origin, religion, or any of the other federal protected classes ought to be required in every classroom and not banned.
Parents and teachers overwhelmingly supported Sarah and her sign.
To interpret messages of belonging as political simply because of a rainbow clip art, or skin tones for that matter, and for the district to validate that perception is disheartening and demeaning as an educator.
And they questioned how it was handled by the district.
It has been said that this policy is meant to protect teachers from complaints, but we don't need protection, we need collaboration. But the way this policy has been implemented hasn't prevented conflict. It has fueled confusion and mistrust.
What is the political opinion? I still have not been told that. For an opinion to be an opinion, it's that people don't agree on something. So I just want to know what that is.
Even Sarah Inama took her 2 minutes.
Programs. Is it the graphics with the hands?
Thank you.
Okay. It's okay. I will email the rest.
And then part of another's.
You're welcome to my time if you'd like to talk more.
Which she concluded this way.
I'm not here to reconcile this for me personally, but I truly feel that you need to remember the basic fundamentals of public education and what this country is and what the law is for accepting and protecting all students in our schools, because this message of your response has been very detrimental to our students, their families, and our staff. Thank you.
Of course, all of these thoughts and feelings had already been shared with the district and the board over the last several weeks.
It's even more embarrassing that we have not shouted from any and all media platform that we made a mistake and that we love and welcome all students in a public school.
But what we hadn't heard until Monday night was from the West Ada Board trustees. who put this policy in place.
I want to be clear. I'm in full support of the posters that were asked to be removed for the very same reasons many of you are here tonight. When I voted on policy 401.2 a few years ago, I did so to keep politics out of the classrooms. I still believe this is the right thing for our students. What I didn't anticipate was that a message of inclusion or words on primary colors could be seen as political. I won't accept that.
It's tricky. I think we all agree we live in a highly politicized world, yes? I mean, it matters right now what kind of car I drive. I mean, can we agree? That's crazy. I do believe the best thing we can do is try and keep as much conflict out of the classroom as possible. That by no means is at all to insinuate that all people should not be welcome in the classroom at all. That is just to say the debate, the discussion of what is or isn't political, that's the piece that I would like to keep out of classrooms.
But if you lead with curiosity and you try to understand, you may have an answer to some of the questions that right now seem perplexing. How is it possible that this could be interpreted any other way? How is it possible that anyone could see things differently than I can? But there's been a sort of a repeated call to acknowledge a mistake. And I want to say in the clearest possible terms, I think that everything was done right here.
With just about 10 days left in the school year for West Ada, we wanted to check back in with Sarah Inama, the 6th grade world civilizations teacher at Lewis and Clark Middle School. She told us her poster, it's still in her classroom, but come next fall, after 5 years of teaching, it won't be, and neither will she. With just about a week left in the school year,
frustrating,
Sarah is taking another stand. Did you already turn in your resignation?
Yes.
Have you heard anything back?
No. I haven't heard much from the district or my admin about this whole debacle since it started.
What have these last few months been like for you?
Just kind of unsettling, not a lot of clarification about the whole situation. I felt like throughout the whole timeline, I've been given so many different reasonings why my poster was in violation. I feel like I deserve to have a more solid explanation and to have all of my questions answered. I mean, even to this day, I'm still can't even believe that this is the situation that I'm in, that a poster that is welcoming all the students in my classroom is not only not celebrated, but considered controversial. And worse than that, just an opinion. And I just don't want to be a part of it.
In her resignation letter, Sarah wrote the district was, quote, more interested in not alienating people with a racist view of our students rather than supporting me and my classroom motivational posters.
I don't see any other way about it. I don't see any other reason besides that. I don't know why else they would ever find this message or this poster or the visuals on it to be controversial in any way, unless they were recognizing racist sentiments or racist opinions from people.
Have you told your students about your resignation?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
They write notes in some of their classes and deliver to their teachers, and I have them fill out kind of an end of the year reflection on, what they learned in my class that they thought was fun and cool. And a lot of them have said they have learned that it's important to stand up for what you believe in. So if that's a lesson that they learned inadvertently in my class, then I'm proud of that. And that sometimes adults are wrong.
From the beginning, with the avoiding of answering questions, it seemed like the school district would rather Sarah and her poster predicament would just go away. Is that what's happening now? Is it just going away?
I hope not. I hope that they can figure out a way to look at messages of inclusion and the celebration of diversity of the students that are in our schools and realize that that is not something to be fearful of. That is not something to deem controversial for whatever reason. It's beautiful. It's the kids of this country. It's the kids in this community, and it's people's children. And we're here to teach all of them.
What are you going to do with the poster?
It's the last thing on my walls right now. I think it would be the last thing I take down.